Yo, what's up, shot makers? It's Rob. I'm here again, but this time I got Steve from Control the Narrative. Steve, go ahead and tell the people who you are and what you do, man.
Yo, Rob, first of all, thankful to be on this platform. We just connected real quick before we hit record and good vibes, good energy. And, I love the intention of what you guys are doing over there at Shot Makers Leagues. But my name's Steve. I'm from Control the Narrative. I am the host of the podcast and just the kind of leader of the movement, as we call it. We're just a basketball platform. We had a podcast going for a bunch of years and we're kind of transitioning to other things at this point. But just a platform where we control narratives that the media creates, that fans create, whether it's through memes, whether it's media through articles, videos, TV shows, things like that. Basketball has just come to a place, culturally wise, where politics and narratives and all this stuff runs so much and ruins a lot of things, people's careers. It
Yeah.
ruins a lot of people's love for the game. Analytics ruins a lot of things, a lot of people say in terms of just how the game is played and things like that. So a lot of the things that we do is kind of try to cut through all that and just look at basketball, and a lot of that eye test things, but also like stats prove that. So it's a little bit of both, but long story short, just where narratives go to die. We have done podcasts, documentaries, we've done thousands of posts and things like that. So that's a quick summary of Control the Narrative.
Before we hit record, right, we was talking about the And One documentary, and I know for me that was a huge deal. So at the time, during and One's rise, I was working at Run and Shoot in Atlanta, and so I knew Hot Sauce back in the day, back when he's Phillip. You know what I'm saying? And when he became, I mean, really when he became Hot Sauce. You know what I'm saying? All those nights in and One, and Run and Shoot, making a name for himself, and then to see him take off One and what it did for him personally, watching his growth, but then also what it did for street ball culture. Talk about the purity of pickup ball.
When you watch NBA basketball right now, it just seems like there's so many politics because NBA, in terms of players, it's all about situations. Like you look at a guy like Robert Ory, who has more championships than Michael Jordan. But nobody wants to mention that. But as soon as it's like Michael Jordan versus LeBron, or as soon as it's this guy versus that guy, everyone runs to talk about rings. So
Yeah.
it's just very situation based. You have a guy like Carmelo Anthony who played 19 years in the NBA, is one of the greatest players of all time, and never played a minute in an NBA Finals. And, people downplay him and his greatness and things like that. So there's just a lot of politics in it. It's all about situations and things like that. And one thing that I love about pickup and street ball and everything that And One really highlighted, because they didn't create it, but they really highlighted a lot of the stuff that was going on in the early 2000s. It's just the purity of it. Like, you just pick up a few guys who, you've never met before and start setting picks and hitting threes. And there's no politics. There's no, all right, this is the situation I'm going to be in, and this is the situation you're going to be in. If it's 7-6 and you see that this guy's hot, like, you're going to give him the ball. He's not thinking about, no, I need the ball to shoot more, to score more, to get a bigger contract, and like the next pick. It's exactly that. Before we clicked record, I was talking about how I've been on this kind of street ball binge, and the And One really like re-sparked that for me, being from New York and seeing a lot of that stuff when I was younger. So it's been really cool, and it just makes you appreciate the game more versus in the NBA, where it's, I don't want to say very, but it's becoming very mechanical and analytical, and you just stand here and like you're supposed to do this, and what's your player efficiency rating under 4 minutes on a Tuesday night when the weather's under 70 degrees. Like all these things that like, man, this is not the game that I grew up loving.
Yeah.
Much street ball, and guys are throwing it off people's heads and making people fall, and like that's the shit for me that I really love
Yeah.
about the game.
I'm a big fan of all of it in the way it all kind of fits together. But I really do appreciate like the Ballers Life, the overtimes,
Hell yeah.
all the Uncle Scoops. Like I love what he's doing with the movement, the OBL and what they've come out and done, the Big Three.
Yep.
I love this alternate basketball that's being created. Basketball is one of those games where, man, all you need is a ball, right? You just need a ball in the court, and like I said, it could be one, it could be three of us, it could be 10 of us, it could be, we play 21 and we'll make a game out of it. I love that part of the game. So when you talk about controlling the narrative, we talked about Melo, man. Melo got such a bad rap for a while, and then it was able to turn around a little bit at the end. But like you said, man, I don't think he got his flowers like he was supposed to in a real way. Who else do you feel like was done that kind of way? Who else do you feel like the narrative just really got turned around on in their career?
one guy that I think one moment in his career changed everything for him, and this is a little debatable, it's a little controversial, but J.R. Smith. You look at what that dude was before he made that mistake in the finals at sixth man of the year in New York, him jumping from damn near the free throw line in Denver, and just like, again, pure entertainment wise, but also just a microwave off the bench who could come in and drop
Oh yeah.
30 points on any night off the bench. The narrative of him after he made that mistake in the finals of thinking they were up one instead of the game being tied and things like that, I think changed everything for him. He was very much a meme before that, and like people joked around with the marijuana and all the Henny and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It seemed like from that moment on, people forgot about everything he did in the past. And again, it's narratives, you know. Did he make a mistake? Was it an all-time blunder? Obviously being in the finals, like for sure. But again, for people to forget everything else that he did just because of that one thing and forget the sixth man of the year and how he helped that Cavs team win a championship. I think it was 2 years before that. Like he was just a huge part of that team. And again, all-time mistake, but
Shouldn't wipe away everything else you
100%.
did.
And again, like
Yeah.
tying that back to Melo is Melo's an all-time. Only 8 players in the history of the NBA have scored more points than him all time, and because he never was in a situation where his team was good enough to win a championship, people downplay it. But he never won a ring and things like that. It's just like people didn't watch the game, and it's funny when you see all these NBA players come out and talk about Melo and JR and guys like that who are just underappreciated by fans and media. They talk so highly of him, and then the media and guys like Brian Windhorst, who probably can't make a free throw, are out here trying to dictate the narrative and tell people what to think about certain things. So, JR for me, obviously, him and Melo are interconnected in a lot of different ways, but I think that.
Oh yeah. Denver, New York.
Yeah, Denver, New York. I think that one
Yeah.
in Cleveland or in Golden State changed everything.
Shot Makers League, I told you we're all about challenges, right? So, what's been your biggest challenge as the leader of Control the Narrative, as a person that's going out and essentially where most people are riding the wave, you're going head on into the wave and saying, no, let's break this up, let's get it right. So, what's been your biggest challenge in doing that?
That's a great question. To be honest with you, I feel like the hardest thing about Control the Narrative so far, and you know, we debuted June 12th, 2019, so a little bit less than a year before COVID, but it was really just starting it. If I'm being 100% honest with you, like everything that's come after has been a byproduct of everything that started on June 12th a little over 4 years ago, because you know, it all started when Melo was being blackballed out of the league, and I was like, man, I just watched this guy in Houston for 10 games. And like, yeah, there was a couple games where he didn't look good, but there were a couple games where he looked really good, and he came off the bench. And people are saying that he's not willing to take a lesser role and that he's washed. But I just saw him come off the bench, and then I just saw him drop 28 points, a 9 of 12 from 3 in Brooklyn when I was at the game. So like, for me, everybody is telling me Melo's washed, his career is over, he won't accept a lesser role. And I was watching everything that was completely opposite of what they were saying. And then when I got on Twitter and I saw a few people agreeing and being like, oh, Melo is getting blackballed and all these things, I was like, damn, am I not crazy? Like, am I one of a lot of people who think like that? So at that point, it was really just bringing them on, trying to spread the message, trying to get multiple people involved. And at that point, it didn't blow up immediately. It's not like we're really blown up right now, but it really took a little bit of time for everybody to be like, oh shoot, I'm not the only one who thinks like this. And then at that point, that's how community grows. I've met a lot of people in real life that have either come out to an event that we've had and at All-Star Weekend, or that, you know, have come out on Long Island where I live at and played pickup at the gym indoors and things like that. So it started so many friendships and made me so many connections. And at the end of the day, like, I think changed the narrative and controlled it a little bit in terms of certain things, obviously related to Melo, because we do a lot about that. So really it was just starting, bro, like just being like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna be the one to put myself out there and be like, yeah, Melo is still good enough to be in the league, which was at that point a crazy concept. And he and within 2 weeks of coming back, wins Player of the Week. So after that, it was kind of easy because, like, you know, it's easy when you have support and things like that, but
for sure,
you know,
for sure,
going against the grain and the wave, to your point, it's tough to do that by yourself. So once you have a few people on your back and you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this, that's a little easier.
No, man, I definitely feel that, man. I definitely went through similar. We weren't going against what the media was saying, but just stepping out there and trying to do something different in the game of basketball. You get a lot of resistance,
Yep,
but then you start finding the people that champion you, and like I said, you build community around that, and before you know it, you're a lot stronger and you're a force to be reckoned with.
big time.
Yeah, man. So Shot Makers League again. We all about challenges. So Steve, you got to create a challenge for us. We're gonna put it on Shot Makers League, and I'm gonna sponsor the prize.
Hell yeah.
So you got different options. So we can go with shooting, dunking, we can go random, we can go training, or we can go dribbling. What kind of challenge do you want to make, Steve?
Shooting 2000%.
Shooting. Okay. So what kind of shooting challenge do you want the people to do?
Let me think about this because there's one drill that whenever I'm by myself or with one or two people shooting around, whether it's outdoor, indoor, we always try doing. I didn't create
Okay.
this. I saw Chris Brickley do this with Melo, and it's really, really difficult where you can't miss 2 in a row and you have to hit 15 shots. So you start in either corner, shoot a 3, grab the ball, or they pass you the ball, take 1 dribble and pull up from mid-range, and then take 2 dribbles and pull up from close to the rim. And you can't miss 2 in a row and you have to go 15.
Let's go. So 5 spots, 3 shots.
Yeah.
Start from the 3, work your way in, and you can't miss 2 in a row.
You can't miss 2 in a row, and it's a 3, then 1 dribble, and then 2 dribble. And sometimes you miss those 2 dribble ones and you get really pissed off and you miss 2 in a row, but it's tough. You have to be feeling it that day. I saw that, again, Chris Brickley do this with Melo, and I think he missed like 2 shots the whole time, and I'm like, damn, I need to do that. And I think I finished it like 2 or 3 times, but it's really, really tough. But it's a good exercise. It's all about depth perception.
That's dope, man. Hey, Steve, it's been great having you on, man. We look forward to more and more content. Is there anything you want to leave the people with before we go?
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank you for allowing me on here. And one thing I want to leave the people with is if you believe in something and it's not a crazy ass belief, like if you actually believe that this guy is going to be this, or if you believe that this guy, just NBA wise, is being treated this way and you think he's better than that, to believe it and don't let other people talk you out of it, because again, a lot of the stuff we do is about Melo. So if Melo believed what everybody said when he was out of the league for a year and that he wasn't good enough and that he wouldn't accept a lesser role, when he literally did that 2 straight years, it would have robbed a lot of people of an all-time player's career, years off of his career. And again,
Yeah.
with Control the Narrative, it was something that when I was watching it, I was like, there's no way that Jared Dudley is better than Carmelo Anthony. There's no way that this guy is better than Carmelo Anthony. So again, man, like you'll find other people that believe what you believe in, and it's not cool just to go the popular route just because you think it's the cool thing to do and things like that. Like believe in what you believe in and believe in what you know, and it'll take you a long way.
That's dope, man. Hey, man, once again, man, thank you for joining the Shot Makers League. Control the narrative. Hey, man, we'll see y'all next time.